Those are brown shirts. Those are Gestapo thugs harming American people. People protesting the fact that those armed Gestapo thugs are harming innocent people. Because that's what they're doing.
With the peace sign.
Exactly. This is what needs to be on the TV. This is what needs to be on the TV.
What a legend, this lady.
She's fantastic, and she's doing
legend. Hit that farm.
Absolutely. She's doing a fantastic job. And that should be the leading story, but it won't be. Disney has lost nearly $4 billion in 3 days from combined stock price collapse and canceled subscriptions. So, Disney, owns ABC. ABC puts on the Jimmy Kimmel Show. Jimmy Kimmel got canceled for 2 reasons. 1, he doesn't make enough money. And 2, the companies, the giant behemoth whale economic engine companies that run these things need Donald Trump to like them. Okay? They need that. If he doesn't like them, he uses the government to harm them. And so they need him to like them. So they do favors for him. And this time, they needed him to, his FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, or something like that, who is a fascist and wants to control what you see and what you hear, and he wants to create a propaganda network that amplifies Donald Trump's message. That's what Brendan Carr wants to do, which means they have to get rid of all the people who argue against them, the people who do not support Donald Trump. So they have to get rid of them. And to get rid of them, Michael Eisner, to get rid of them, they have to, ABC, to make Donnie like them, have to silence the voices that talk against Donald Trump, which is Jimmy Kimmel at the moment. He's not making enough money, and he talks shit about Trump, so he has to go so that they can merge with this other company. The merger could be stopped by the government, but the government, they want the government to like them, so they have to do something. And that's the point. And because the people, and these are boomers, man, this isn't the millennials or the Gen X's. This is the boomers all seeing Jimmy Kimmel get fired and then stop supporting Disney. This is working. This is working. The boomers and the Gen X's really do control the economy. I'm sorry, but they do. If you're younger than 40 years old, you have no say in the economy. The people who are younger than 40, what they do is they go to YouTube and they complain about Disney. I don't know if you've ever been on YouTube or typed the word Star Wars into YouTube. If you have, you will see mountains and mountains and mountains of hatred. You really do. If you go to YouTube and just type the word Star Wars, you will see thousands of videos talking shit about Disney, talking shit about DEI, talking shit about any black character that exists within Star Wars, any woman that exists within Star Wars. You will see mountains and mountains of anti-woke propaganda telling you that they went woke and they went broke. And it was never true. They went woke and they made money. But now, you can look right here and see Disney doing what the fascists want and going broke. If you go right, you go broke. If you appease Donald Trump, you go broke. It's been the opposite of what the hate mongers on YouTube have been telling you for a very long time. Because they're liars. They're wrong. They have been backward this entire time, and they have been trying for a very long time to make you also backwards.
Hello human, it is me, the algorithm. Press the subscribe button to make me happy.
Yeah, if you go woke, you go broke is what they've been telling you. And they're wrong. It's always been wrong. But they want it to be true, so they tell you over and over and over and over again. They pump out page after page after page, video after video, video after video, telling you that the problem with the movies, the problem with cinema, the problem with Disney, the problem with everything is that it's too woke. It's not true. We can see the graph right here. The thing that made Disney go broke was pre-complying with Donald Trump's demands. That's making them go broke. Stop pre-complying. Stop doing what he wants before he forces you with the government, because they haven't been forced yet. ABC did not get forced into kicking Jimmy Kimmel off the air. They did not get forced. They assumed future enforcement. And so they complied today. Self-censoring today leads to state censoring tomorrow. Stop doing it. Stop doing the self-censoring today. Because you know what happens next? The government, Donald Trump's government, sends a content monitor to Disney, to ABC, to tell them what they can and cannot put on the air. Brendan Carr will take away the licenses, and they talked about that a lot over the past couple of days, taking away the licenses from all these local broadcasters if they post things that Donnie doesn't like. And they're going to pre-comply. They're going to get ready ahead of time to make him feel better. Let's listen to the president threaten to use the government to harm people.
Capitalism ass policies.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. So let's listen to Donnie threaten some people to take their licenses away.
Look, that's something that should be talked about for licensing too. When you have a network and you have evening shows and all they do is hit Trump. That's all they do. If you go back, I guess they haven't had a conservative on in years or something.
All of that is not true. They do hit him because he's a clown. It's very easy to make jokes about clowns. His hair is an unnatural color. His hair is a weird, disturbing shape. His face is painted and his clothes don't fit. He is literally a clown. So it's very easy to make jokes about clowns.
But when you go back and take a look, all they do is hit Trump. They're licensed. They're not allowed to do that.
They're not allowed to do that, says the head of the executive branch. They're not allowed to do that. They are. Mr. Trump, they are allowed to do that. They're allowed to say whatever they want. They can call you a clown if they feel like it. I can too, and I just did. And I will continue to do so, even if you took my license away. I just do it on the street where I seem like a crazy person. I'll bring the tinfoil hat. It'll be a whole thing. But you're allowed to do that because that's what the First Amendment is about. It's about criticizing the people in charge, criticizing the people in power. You were not allowed to criticize the King of England when we were part of the colonies. That was probably illegal, which is why they wrote that First Amendment, that whole freedom of speech thing. Conservatives don't know what that means. They don't know what freedom is. They don't know what freedom means. They think that because they are a certain way, you're not allowed to criticize them and their way because they are right and they are correct and everything they do is perfect. And if you criticize it, you're just wrong and being wrong on purpose, intentionally, willingly wrong. That's not how opinions work. That's not how brains work. That's not how the freedom of speech works. Let's continue listening to him as he says another one right here. Here we go.
Speech this week. Do you see a difference between cancel culture and consequence culture?
And even that is because he doesn't let actual reporters in. He only lets in the people he likes to ask him questions. They've been calling it consequence culture. You're not being canceled, okay? The right hates cancel culture, even though they do it all the time. So they call it consequence culture, and it's exactly the same thing. They just give it a different name because they're morally bankrupt and they're intellectually lacking. They can't tell the difference. So let's see what this has.
Your question's a little trick question. I'm a very strong person for free speech.
No, he's not. That's a lie.
At the same time, when you have networks that where I won an election, like in counties, I guess it's 2,600 to 525. That's called landslide. A landslide times two.
Landslide times two. What the fuck does that have to do with the person who's criticizing you? It has nothing to do with that. You're just jibber jabbering. Landslide times two.
You have that level of popularity or voter support, as I did in the last election, and yet 97 and 94% different
made up numbers.
You see different numbers with different stats.
Depends on who's making them up.
97, 94, 95, 96% of the people are against me in the sense of the newscasts are against me. The stories are they said 97% bad. So they gave me 97. They'll take a great story and they'll make it bad. See, I think that's really illegal.
Really illegal. Really illegal. The words they said, the story they printed. They took a good story that he made up. They took his bullshit, his lies, his misunderstanding of reality, and then found out what was true and told the people what was true. And that is really illegal.
Personally, you can't have a free airwaves. You're getting free airwaves from the United States government.
You can't have free airwaves. You can't take the free.
And you can't have that and say, and somebody that just won an election, and I had to go through this during the election.
You can't have those free airwaves telling people things he doesn't like. He won the election, you guys. He won the election. That means every opinion he has and every single thing he says is true. And you're not allowed to argue about that. That's what it means to his broken brain. It means that you aren't allowed to criticize him. You're not allowed to tell him that he is a liar and wrong, or else you get harmed by the government. And that's in his brain, free speech. You're not even allowed to do it. It's illegal to say things against him. That's free speech in his brain. He loves free speech, but you're not allowed to use it to argue with him. That's not free speech. That's arguing with him. That's suggesting that he's wrong. That's suggesting that he's doing things incorrectly. That is illegal. He is going to take your rights away. He is. He wants to take your rights away. Freedom of press and the freedom of speech are started. Freedom of protest is being attacked all over the place. We'll look at some protest videos later, and fascists cheering when protesters get hurt because they like political violence. Stay tuned for that. They want to take your rights away. They do, and they're working on it. Donald Trump is working on taking your rights away.
Hello human, it is me, the algorithm. Press the subscribe button to make me happy.
So even the internet isn't safe because they're coming for TikTok too. Let's watch this one.
But this deal does put America's first, and let me just be very clear. This deal means that TikTok will be majority owned by Americans in the United States. There will be 7 seats on the board that controls the app in the United States.
That controls the app in the United States, and what goes on it, and what doesn't go on it, and what the rules are, and who gets to post things, and if you are maybe kind of anti-Trump, they won't allow it. The people on that board are going to be gigantic billionaire CEOs. And what they will do is whatever's best for their bottom line. They don't care about you. They don't care about your access to free speech. They don't care about what you have to post. They don't give a damn about what maybe you would say. They care about money. Money, 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 money. SpongeBob is up, me boy. It's all about the money. That's all that matters to these people, and the government is going to put one person in charge there. So the 6 of those seats will be Americans, and the 7th will be a government appointed person from Donald Trump. He's going to put one person on that board to report back to him what those other 6 are saying, what those other 6 are suggesting. They will have a man on the inside on the board pushing the propaganda, forcing them to implement rules to do pro-Trump propaganda. The media is being turned even further than it already was. It was already all based on money, but it's getting worse now. Let's finish this clip before I rant a little bit.
And 6 of those seats will be Americans. And the data and privacy will be led by one of America's greatest tech companies, Oracle. And the algorithm will also be controlled by America as well. So
the algorithm will be controlled by them, by the party, for the party, of the party. They will tell you what to see. They will bring it up to you. They will put it in front of your face. And anything that is against the party will be silenced.
All of those details have already been agreed upon. Now we just need this deal to be signed, and that will be happening, I anticipate, in the coming days.
Making some news there. So 6 of the 7 seats will be American held. Sounds like a deal that puts American interests first. Caroline.
Maybe the 7th will be Chinese or something like that. I don't know. I don't know who that 7th will be, but all of them will be on Donnie's good list. You can't be on Donnie's naughty list and be in charge of on this board. It won't happen. He will get you removed. He'll tell everybody that you need to be removed. They'll all vote to remove you because it'll hurt their bottom line. Capital often walks hand in hand with fascism. The big media companies, like CNN, like Fox News, like TikTok, like YouTube and stuff like that. YouTube less so because it's online, but the big TV companies, the mainstream media, they do not exist to inform you anymore. They exist to sell you things. Sometimes it's real stuff like a soda or the latest nicotine delivery system, or my favorite, the big pharma monstrosity drugs that that are for treating something stupid like restless elbow syndrome, with a list of side effects and warnings like a mile long. Side effects may include loss of face, spontaneous human combustion, and homicidal rage. Pills should not be handled by women, children, or men. If you or a family member begins excreting from underneath your fingernails, see a doctor immediately. Those are my favorite commercials. Those are the good ones. And they work for them. They don't work for you. They're not there to bring you information. The information they bring you is just bait. It's clickbait. It is to get you there to watch the commercials, to get you to watch the commercials for the soda, for the nicotine, for the drugs, for the catheters, for the latest Subway sandwich, for the latest Bitcoin. I do suspect that we're going to get a lot more Bitcoin commercials on TV soon, because that's where all the dumb people are. It's where as we saw with the Jimmy Kimmel thing, that is where all the people with money are, is watching TV. I know that that's disturbing to anybody under 40, that the people are watching television. Gross. Why would you watch TV? It's just ads all day long. But that's where the most of the people are, for now anyway. And what the hell was I talking about? Okay, so yeah, they work for that money. That's what they're there for. The mainstream media exists to make money from those companies. They are just paid to sell you shit you probably don't need. The right-wing media exists to sell you conservative ideas. So yes, CNN is there to sell you sodas and nicotine and drugs. Fox News, OAN, Newsmax, all that shit is there to sell you right-wing propaganda. They're paid to do that. They get money from the CPACs and shit like that to give you right-wing arguments, explanations for why the right wing is correct, apologetics for why Donald Trump is correct and everyone else is wrong, why it's okay for Trump to remove human rights. Those are bad people he removed their human rights from. You don't need those rights. As a good person, you don't want to transition, so you aren't using that right anyway, so nobody gets to have it. That's their rationale. That's their explanation. That is their job. That is what they are there to do. Even if they are losing money, even if they are not making money. Old Rupert Murdoch lost money for the first decade of Fox News because that's not the point for him. He was not there to make money. He was there to launder conservatism, wash it, whitewash it, clean it up, put it in a fancy suit and tell you that it's true. It's not true, and it's a dangerous fascist ideology, but his job was to make it more palatable. The people in charge of the right wing know that they're wrong. And I'm not talking about the rural Nebraska dirt farmer who wears a red hat and thinks that Trump's right about everything. I'm talking about the people that work in the government to implement Project 2025, the people at the media. They know they are against the First Amendment. They know that they are taking people's rights away, but they like it. They're doing it because they morally feel like it's correct, or financially think that it will get them paid more. And we can point to their inconsistencies, we can point to their contradictions, and we can't expect them to change. And that's the issue that I'm dealing with at the moment. I can point out their inconsistencies, I can point out their problems, I can point out where they're wrong, I can point out where they're doing things incorrectly, I can point out where they're lying. But it doesn't matter. The vast majority of people will never hear it. The algorithm won't put it in front of their faces, and because I'm not on CNN, people won't notice. And even if I were on CNN, they would take my money away. They would cancel me for saying some certain things, and they would fire me for saying harsh truths. You can go onto the internet and find people telling you the truth. Sometimes you find mostly liars. Bullshit pays. It really does. You get more money lying to people than you do telling them the truth. That is the culture you're in. That is the culture you're a part of. Have you ever read a fictional book? Well, sure. I watch fictional TV all the time. I read fictional books. I play video games about people who can fly and shoot fucking laser beams. None of that's real, but it's more fun. It's more pleasant. It's more acceptable. Nonfiction, it's boring as shit. I don't read nonfiction books. I don't watch nonfiction television shows. And even if you do, they're hyped up. They're over-exaggerated. If you watch reality TV, it's just hot people banging each other and screaming obscenities. And that's not very real. If you watch the true crime shit, they don't just tell you about a normal person having a normal day. They tell you about the horrible nightmare monster thing that happened to them, which is normal, you know? And that gives humanity a distorted view on what is real. So most people do not know what's real. Most people do not connect with reality. We all have our own little bubbles. I recognize that I'm in one myself, and I know that it's there, and I try and branch out and understand what everybody else is thinking. But how do we get people to pay attention to the reality, pay attention to the ideas, pay attention to the facts that are happening in front of them? I don't know. Because the media is not here to help you with that. They are not here to help you with that. They are here to sell you something. Each media operation sells you something different, and whatever they are selling you is promoted. They are trying to sell you on something. MSNBC is trying to sell you on the Democrat Party. They are. They're not leftists. Don't fucking get that shit wrong. If you don't know the difference between the DNC and the leftist, you need to watch my show more often, so that we can separate those two things. Is the DNC's left of center? Yes. Are they leftists? No. They work for money. They operate to get maximum donations and then give that to consultants who will then maximize more donations and get more money. That's their operation. And the MSNBC is there to help you make that feel better and accept that. And they give you nothing and tell you that it's something. It's a whole thing. So they're selling something as well. Everybody's selling something. I'm selling myself right here, right now, telling you that I'm bringing you some truth, some of my own opinions, yes, but from my specific point of view. Everybody's selling something because you live in a capitalist hellscape. You do, I do, everybody, every one of us has to pay to live. The people at the top, the whales, the big monstrosities at the top, the CNNs, the giant media corporations, the people that are way above you, kicking out billions of dollars in revenue. They need billions more. And they can only get that if they follow the rules, if they follow the laws of whoever's in charge right now. And right now, a fascist is in charge. Donald Trump is a fascist. He is a white nationalist. He is an authoritarian. And he is writing the rules now. So they have to follow him. They will not help you. They will not help you. They will not help you in the next election. They might prefer somebody else to be in charge, but they're not really going to push that. If they push it too hard, he will use the power of the government to harm them. And that is why he can't be trusted. That is why you need to talk to people in reality and tell them to stop supporting Donald Trump. That's all there is to it. I'm telling you right now, and I'm telling everybody in my life, stop supporting him. You don't have to scream it at the top of your lungs every time a business meeting starts, but in your personal life, in the people that you talk to, the people that you see face to face in real life, tell them this guy's bad. He is harming free speech, and he is harming people, and he is chopping off the people who speak the truth. He is harming Jimmy Kimmel, which is a thing, and it's actually working. These are the people that talk to people. These are the boomers right here. This is not the millennial Gen Z crowd that's upset about Jimmy Kimmel. Gen Z doesn't watch Jimmy Kimmel. They don't know who he is. They don't understand the late night fucking TV show structure. But the boomers like it. The Gen X is used to it. So when you change those things, they get upset, and then they hit them in the wallet. This is more activism than anything the Gen Z has ever done. And I'm very upset that this is the thing that works. You know, telling people the truth online doesn't matter. Telling people what's real on social media does not matter. TV ratings still matter. Who knew? Is CNN showing you what's going on? Important things. I think this is important. Let's look at this thing that I think is important, but I'm not sure CNN is even showing or talking about or anybody even noticing. This is people protesting ICE. That should be on every news network for the next 24 hours. That should be. It should be.
Oh my God. That was really cool, guys. You guys are super cool for that. Wow.
This is what needs to be on the news.
She's getting a sign. She's getting a sign. You'll get it, boy. Give me a sign.
The Gestapo hurting American citizens. That is what should be leading the news.
Give me a sign.
Waldo, that's an insurrection. They're clearing rioting.
You're gonna need some shit. You have to. It's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse.
Armed Gestapo thugs are harming American citizens. That is what needs to be on the goddamn news, but it's not. Well, we're going to go over to CNN here in just a minute and see if it's even on there. I haven't checked yet, but I suspect that it's not.
That's good.
Those are brown shirts. Those are Gestapo thugs harming American people. People protesting the fact that those armed Gestapo thugs are harming innocent people. Because that's what they're doing.
With the peace sign.
Exactly. This is what needs to be on the goddamn TV. This is what needs to be on the TV.
What a legend, this lady.
She's fantastic, and she's
Absolute
doing
legend.
it.
Hit that Aura farm.
Absolutely. She's doing a fantastic job. And that should be the goddamn leading story for the next goddamn week. But it won't be. Because if you lead with this story, including me right now telling you about it, you might be harmed by the American government. Donald Trump's government does not want you to see this, and he will harm you if you post it, if you talk about it, and if you put it on the goddamn TV. Because they are authoritarians. They are fascists. They are coming for your rights. I don't care where you are on the planet. I know, I think, Valor, you're not in America, but you won't be helped if America loses their rights. It will only get worse for everybody on the fucking planet. Why are they protesting? Because that is an ICE facility that is illegally keeping people in captivity, innocent people who have committed no crimes. They came here undocumented, which shouldn't be a crime.
They'd like to have the same effect here, I'm sure.
Yeah, wherever you are, there are fascists that want to take your rights away. So let's keep looking at some more of these videos, because it wasn't just that one. There are more. Here they are again, same place, doing pretty much the same thing. Harming people, hurting them. And oh, hey, here we have Nazi Barbie doll, Laura Ingraham, an actual literal Nazi. She has thrown up the Sieg Heil secretly, smoothly hiding it with waves in the past because she's a secret Nazi.
Including a Democrat congressional candidate who was thrown to the ground by an ICE agent. Good work. Good work
Doing this bit of violence here. So that is Kat Abu Ghazala, who is running for office in Illinois. You've probably seen her on the internet. If you haven't, you should go look her up. She's very cool, and I hope she wins. But she's there also protesting, which is what the politicians are supposed to do. You should have congressional people out here doing this protest. You should. You should be out there doing exactly this. I want every member of the fucking House right here. You understand me? Find the ICE area in your district, stand in front of it, and get fucking arrested. Because that's what you're supposed to do. That is your job. It's part of your job anyway. And then it will be on the fucking news. It'll be on the TV. CNN might have to cover that if a House member who is actually elected got tear gassed and then thrown around. And if ICE doesn't do that because you're there, guess what? You win. The Democrats have forgotten what they're supposed to be doing. They think that they are just supposed to politely argue, write sternly worded letters, and vote whatever, however they feel like. No, you're supposed to be out there. You're supposed to be on the ground. You're supposed to be here getting tear gassed. And I hope she wins because of this. I really do. Let's go back to Kat here. I hope she wins because of this Gestapo thug harming her. I'm sorry that she got harmed. I didn't want her to be harmed. But this is a right-wing person celebrating violence. Haven't we been talking about that all fucking week? Past 2 damn weeks? Celebrating political violence and how the left fucking does it. When you see Nazi Barbie doll, Laura Ingraham right here doing it. She likes it when Dems get hurt. She likes it when liberals get hurt. She likes it when the left gets pepper sprayed, tear gassed, and harmed. She likes it. And she supports it. But if you ask her if she supports political violence, she will say no, because she is a goddamn liar. All Nazis are. Anybody supporting Trump at this point is lying somehow, a little bit. They're either ignoring the fact that he's doing these things, or they're lying to you about their feelings. J.D. Vance, Chance Dance Vance, just like last week, on my last video, I did look at him, and he talked about how the liberals are more likely to celebrate violence, and the Republicans weren't. Nonsense. The Republicans love violence. They just lie to pollsters all the time. They lie about their feelings. They lie about their thought processes, of the which they don't really have. They lie about their feelings. They lie about who they hate. They lie about being racist. They lie about their positions. They lie about who they voted for, and they lie about who they're going to vote for in the future. That's conservatism, baby. That's Republicans. They feel like Laura does. Laura loves this video. She loves it. Laura Ingraham is a Nazi, and I'm going to tell you she's a Nazi until they hang me from the goddamn gallows. I'm going to tell you that she is. And she loves political violence, but she's going to lie to you about it. She's going to tell you that she's against political violence while cheering it on, while posting videos of it, and telling you that she's against it. Because they cannot be trusted. They are bad faith. Conservatism requires bad faith arguments. They cannot tell you what they actually think. They cannot tell you what they actually feel, because what they feel is hatred.
Whale Watcher.
Whale
Calls
Watcher.
them as I see them.
I saw her on some more news, and she said an AI voice came on a loudspeaker and said if they wouldn't disperse, they would use lethal force. Obviously, they didn't do that a lethal bit, but still, yeah. They are not to be trusted. The bad guys in these videos are the ICE agents. They are doing illegal things for bad reasons. They are lying to you about immigrants. They are lying to you about the number of immigrants. Donald Trump told you that there were 50 million illegals in America. That's a fucking lie. And he told you that he would get them out and it would be easy. That's a damn lie. And then he told you that it would help your economy, and that's a damn lie. All conservatism is based on lies. Chance Dance Vance, just last week, told us that conservatism is based on the life and teachings of Jesus Christ, and that's a lie. That it is based on that, and then it's a fairy tale story anyway. So, a fairy tale story that they based a bunch of lies about, and then they built a foundation of fairy tale, and then they built scaffolding and structures of lies on top of it. It's all lies. And if you are in that party, if you are on the right, you are lying to yourself somewhere, and you're lying to everyone around you about something. Some things. Some people are more authentic than others, but they all face the same idea that they're lying somewhere, somehow. They're lying about their support for Donald Trump. They're lying about what he actually said, or they're lying to themselves that they believe it. You can find conservatives who would tell you that they believe that immigrants are hurting the economy. You can show them evidence to the contrary, but they won't believe it because they are self-lying. They're lying to themselves. They're lying to themselves to make the world look more like what they want it to look like. They're creating a fiction, hoping and working towards making that fiction a reality, rather than looking at reality and then making it better. That's what we ought to do as a leftist. If you're watching, if you're paying attention, if you want to be a leftist, look at reality, make it slightly better. And what that leads to is people arguing about microaggressions. It really does. I don't like arguing about wokeism, but that's reality. Woke is being real with people. Hey, it hurts people's feelings when you use the R word that I used to use in the 90s. You're not allowed to say it on Twitch, so I won't say it here. You are allowed on YouTube for some reason. The mentally disabled R word. It's harmful to people to say it. So I stopped saying it. I did every as a 90s kid. Everything was that word. I once described a bag of chips using that word. So it was ingrained in me, but I have tried to stop, and I don't say it on the stream because it's harmful to people. That's wokeism. I have changed my behavior to make the world a better place, to make the world better, to make society work, function better. Conservatives refuse this. They will never do that. The worst slurs still get thrown around in conservatism all the time. They like it. It makes them feel good. They want to drag the world backwards. They want to drag the world to the past, where they grew up. The world was much better when they were 18 years old, and that's where the world needs to be. It needs to stop, and maybe even go backward even further than that, depending on who you ask. But they are a backward-facing ideology. They want the world to go backwards. But as a leftist, you need to look at the world. You need to see what is actually happening. And it tastes like shit. It tastes like shit. Reality tastes like shit. And then make it taste a little bit better. Just make it a little bit better. What we need for broad society is the media, is the people on top, the whales, to tell you that this is bad. But we don't have that. We don't have the giants of media telling you that this is bad. We have the giants of media telling you good job. Let's see if any of this is on CNN. I'm going to go to CNN's website, and we're going to look at the videos. What do we got? We got Kimmel drama, free speech. Okay, Trump's economic policies impacting grocery prices because the consultants told them way too late that this was going to be a thing. They could have brought this up during the campaign. They could have shown us charts and stuff like that. They could have pushed this 9 months ago, but the consultants hadn't wrapped their heads around it yet, and the consultants weren't sure where it was going to go, so they couldn't talk about it. That's why the Dems are always kind of behind. I'm going off topic right now, but the Dems are always at least 6 weeks behind the current issue because they have to see the news, send it to the think tank. The think tank has to get people's buy-in. They have to go to the social media, find out what everybody's talking about. Then they have to bring it back to the think tank. Then they have to sift through that data. They have to weed out the trolls. They have to put together a talking point, and then they have to measure that talking point against a target audience. They have to refine that message from the target audience to maximize Democrat donations, and then they give that information to Chuck Schumer, who then says it 6 weeks after the fucking problem. That's why they're upset about groceries right now. But there is one. Chicago activists push back against federal presence. So let's watch CNN. I haven't watched this. I haven't seen it. I don't know how much of this is going to actually be good coverage or not, or just people talking about it, which is what I'm doing, I know. But
community leaders and advocates for immigrants are pushing back against the Trump administration's crackdown on immigration. ICE officers have been
not calling it fascism, not calling them Gestapo, weak stuff, but I get it. I get to be edgy.
In the Chicago metro area for several days now, picking up suspected undocumented immigrants. Protesters held rallies outside an ICE facility in Broadview, just outside of Chicago, back on Friday.
There's Kat.
A federal agent pushed one protester to the ground. You saw it right there. She says agents also fired pepper balls at demonstrators. The mayor of Evanston.
No mention of who she is or that she's actually literally running for the thing. Maybe he'll mention it in the next few minutes.
Who was there alongside protesters, says federal agents tear gassed them. Mayor Daniel Biss says they will not be intimidated. Joining me now to discuss the public resistance to federal operations in Chicago is Alderman Byron Sigcho Lopez. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, sir, to talk about this. Let's start here. What are your constituents feeling right now as these ICE operations?
Good morning, Danny. Thank you for the invitation.
Also, who is this guy? I've never seen this guy before, but I don't think he's a big name. I've never heard his name. I watch the news all the fucking time. I've never seen this guy. I don't know who this is. They gave it to the C team. This, what I'm telling you, should be on fucking primetime TV. The most important thing that you could ever see, not the most important thing you could ever see, but the most important thing that's going on in the country right now is just Sunday morning stuff.
It's being a terror unleashed upon our streets We saw in the beginning of the Midwest Blitz operation, we already have a neighbor who has been killed in these operations. Yesterday or 2 days ago, there was a neighbor that was tased. There was a U.S. citizen that was tased and hospitalized because of the barbaric nature of these operations. We have seen child endangerment, at least 2 operations, one in Cicero, one in Chicago, in Little Village, in my neighborhood.
But Waldo,
When a family
Trump
was
said
stopped,
some more
on one
words, so
occasion,
we have to
both
give all
parents
the
were
prime
taken from
time
the
to
vehicle,
him.
dragged out of the vehicle in front of their minors. The children were minors,
Right.
creating child endangerment. And yesterday, when we saw the shameful actions of Gregory Bovino and his group of mercenaries, because that's how we got called, people who were shooting rubber bullets. I was there with Mayor Biss and a few other elected officials, including Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, a few minutes before this happened. Rubber bullets and chemical weapons that were shot at protesters that were just expressing the discontent.
I see you there, Tony. I'll talk to you in just a sec.
And with all these shameful operations that are creating terror, we have kids right now that are walking alone to school in some of our districts, and we have schools that right now don't have enough staff. So these children are even vulnerable to not having even any kind of support for the trauma that's been inflicted on them. So we have been seeing terror, violence, escalation that is really terrorizing many of our neighbors. We condemn and we reject these Gestapo tactics, and we want ICE out of our neighborhoods, out of our state, and we want these facilities like the Broadview facility, where we have multiple reports of inhumane conditions, to be shut down.
Alderman, Governor Jamie Pritzker, he's been speaking out also against these ICE raids and pushing back on the Trump administration's plans, or I guess we'll see if it comes true, since they've been talking about it for many weeks now, to deploy the National Guard.
This is toothless. This is worthless. This is accomplishing nothing. This is hiding half of the facts. This is hiding most of the valuable context. This is why things keep going wrong, because the people who could stop it won't. CNN can't tell you what I've been telling you for the past few
Tony
minutes.
thinks the fascists won't come for him.
Well, he is a fascist, so they won't come for him. He's a helpful idiot. CNN will not help you. This is why I labeled the stream the way I did today. The media will not help you. When the fascists come for you, and they come for me, as Tony is suggesting, they might. The fascists might come for me. They might. The media will not help. The media will half-ass cover it. They'll have some tiny little background roll. They'll have the video of my murder and arrest by the state playing in the background, while some goober who you've never heard of tells you that it's some middle of the road. They'll leave out all the important context. They won't tell you who those people are. They won't tell you why it's important. They'll just say, well, is this against free speech? We don't know. How do you feel about it, audience? We don't know anything. We just ask questions. The media is supposed to tell you things, not just ask questions with no answers, and then when a liar lies to them, they just accept it. They have shifted from what they used to be. A long time ago, 50 years ago, they would find information, they would ask difficult questions, and they would tell you the fucking answer, and they would tell you who's a goddamn liar. They don't do that anymore, because that's bad for business.
Click on this video link to appease the many AI overlords.